Welcome back to the deep dive. I want to start today by asking you about a feeling. You know, that specific one that usually hits around 4 p.m. on a Sunday?
The Sunday scaries.
Exactly. That creeping sense of dread about the Monday morning meeting. Or maybe it hits you on a Tuesday when you're deep into a meeting about, well, another meeting.
And you're just staring at a slide deck thinking, this isn't just boring. This is genuinely insane.
Right. It's that feeling that the whole workplace is some kind of elaborate prank.
Or a collective hallucination we've all agreed to.
Well, today we are going deep into that feeling. We're looking at a classic piece of business satire that feels, frankly, more like a documentary these days. We're talking about the Dilbert Principle by Scott Adams.
Yeah, a foundational text in, let's call it, corporate anthropology. It's funny because it's so terrifyingly accurate.
And we're not just looking at the comics. We've got our hands on a slide deck summary that breaks down what Adams called his unified theory of corporate absurdity. We're going to click through it.
It's a great source because it visualizes the core argument, which really turns the old way of thinking about competence on its head.
Let's start there, because before Dilbert, the big theory was the Peter Principle. Most people have heard of that one, right?
Sure. It's a classic. The idea that you get promoted to your level of incompetence.
So you're a great coder, they make you a senior coder. You're great at that, so they make you a manager.
And suddenly you're terrible at your job. Because managing people has nothing to do with writing code.
Right, so you get stuck there, incompetent, a boss who was once good at something.
That's the key. They became incompetent. But the Dilbert principle argues we've streamlined that whole process.
How so? It suggests we don't wait for them to become incompetent.
I don't have time for that.
That-
The Dilbert principle states that the most ineffective workers are systematically moved to the place where they can do the least damage.
So, management.
Management.
So you're promoted not despite being incompetent, but because you're incompetent.
It's a containment strategy. I mean, think about it. If you have a brilliant engineer who actually keeps the system running, can you afford to promote them?
No way. You need them on the keyboard.
Exactly. But what about the guy who can't code, can't sell, but, has fantastic hair? You can't leave him in the workflow. He'll break things.
So you give him a title and put him in charge of status reports.
You quarantine him, his job becomes process, so he can't touch the product.
That explains a lot. Okay, let's get into these slides. I want to paint the picture. Slide 1 is called the paradigm shift.
And it shows us side by side. You've got nature's method versus the business method.
It's pretty stark. On the left, nature's method is a wolf about to eat a moose.
Survival of the fittest. Brutal, but efficient. The weak are culled, they're recycled back into the ecosystem.
And on the right, the business method, you have this confused-looking employee being swooped away from his work and put behind a manager's desk.
Right. It's illustrating the systematic containment of incompetence. The source says, imagine an employee who can't write code, can't design a network, but he has very good hair.
A key performance indicator, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
So what do you do with him? Nature would eat him.
Business promotes him.
It's the path of least resistance. It suggests that managers are often the least valuable people in the actual production chain. They're isolated so they don't break the machinery.
That is just a devastatingly logical point, which leads right into the next slide. Slide 2. Mechanism of humiliation 2. Hoteling.
Oof, yeah, this one's going to hit home for anyone in a modern open plan office.
The visual is amazing. On top, you have a floor plan labeled the hoteling model. It's just rows of identical empty tables.
No assigned seats, you check in for the day.
And below it, labeled the inspiration model, is the floor plan of a public restroom.
It's a harsh comparison, but it's intentional. The argument here is that the goal isn't efficiency, it's the eradication of pride of ownership.
See, they sell it as freedom, right?
Yeah.
Sit wherever you want.
But freedom to sit anywhere is also the freedom to belong nowhere. When you have a desk, you nest. You put up a picture, a plant.
You stake a claim. It's your space.
Exactly. Hoteling makes you a transient. The company is basically telling you your employment is temporary, don't get comfortable.
There's a quote here from the source that is just brutal. It says, the message is, keep the photos of your ugly family in the trunk of your car.
It's the ultimate evolution of the cubicle, which Adams called an anti-productivity chamber. Now you don't even get the fabric walls.
It's all about control. Okay, speaking of control, slide 3. Mechanism of humiliation the third, the furniture hierarchy.
This is one of my favorites. The core idea is simple. You are only as important as your chair.
Yeah.
often you are less important.
And the visual is like the evolution of man, but for chairs. At the very bottom, you just have the desk.
Which is described as a board to keep the phone off your lap. You're basically part of the furniture.
Step up from that.
The secretary chair. It looks really rigid. The description says it's designed to prevent napping and ensure vigilance.
It's a tool, not for comfort, but then middle management.
Ah, the game changer. It has arms and a tilt.
The tilt.
Crucial, the source calls it, essential for balancing while sleeping.
That is perfect. So the secretary has to be vigilant, but the manager just has to balance.
Reflects the job, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Lots of long, inactive periods in meetings.
And then at the very top, the executive. It's a throne, a huge, high-backed leather throne.
And the label just says, "Worship me."
So it's not about function, it's about caste. It's a status marker.
Absolutely. The furniture is doing the intimidating for them.
Okay, so if the furniture tells you where you stand, what about the rewards? Slide 4. Mechanism of humiliation v. recognition programs.
Right, and this slide has a pyramid that completely flips how we think about praise.
At the top, for the executive caste, the reward is 0 recognition programs.
Because real power doesn't need a plaque. Their reward is stock options and the worship me chair.
Below that, the mushroom in the cubicle caste, they get a token cash award.
Just enough to keep you quiet.
And at the very bottom, the paper hat caste, their reward is employee of the month.
And here's the dark subtext the source points out. We think winning that is good, right?
Yeah, of course.
But the analysis says the hidden message is, here is another person who won't be downsized until after we nail you.
Wow, so it's a target on your back.
Or it's a pacifier.
Yeah.
It's a way to placate you when they can't give you real power or real money.
There's a story in the book about this, the Process Award.
Oh, this one is perfect. It's almost a perfect loop. A group won a corporate award for creating the best new process.
Okay, sounds standard.
But the process they created was the process for awarding awards.
Wait, what? They won an award for creating the system to give themselves that award?
It's the ultimate corporate Ouroboros. It produces nothing but self-congratulations. The work isn't the point. The appearance of work is the point.
That's a perfect transition. We've talked about the hardware, the chairs, the awards. Let's talk about the software, the actual communication.
The buzzwords.
The buzzwords. The source talks about a game called Buzzword Bingo.
We've all played it, right? You've got a card with words like paradigm, synergy, strategic, robust.
And you just check them off in a meeting. But why do managers talk like that?
It's a defensive strategy. It's camouflage for the incompetent. If I say we need to fix the server, you can ask how, and I have to have an answer.
That's risky.
But if I say we need a strategic paradigm shift in our multimedia utilization, what does that even mean?
Nothing. So no one can argue with you.
Exactly. You've created a shield of nonsense. And that brings us to mission statements.
Ah, this story from the book is amazing. There's a dean at a business college.
Who decides they need a mission statement? So naturally, he forms a committee.
Of course.
The committee can't agree, so they split into sub-teams to define words like core competency.
So they're having meetings about the definitions of the words for the meeting.
After hundreds of hours, they produce one sentence. Something like, we will use our core competencies to continuously improve and satisfy customers.
That could be for a hot dog stand or a nuclear submarine. It's completely meaningless.
But the process of creating it, that was the work. The product was irrelevant.
Which all happens in the ultimate venue for this stuff, the meeting. The source calls it performance art.
That's the key. You have to see it as theater. You're not there to solve problems. You're there to play a role.
Let's talk about the cast of characters. I know all these people. First, the master of the obvious.
This is the person who very sincerely explains why electricity is important for computers to work.
Just to be clear, we need to sell more than we spend.
Thank you, Todd. Moving on.
Then there's the well-intentioned sadist.
The one who believes meetings should be painful. They scheduled a 4 p.m. meeting on a Friday.
And my favorite, the rambling man.
The chaos agent. You're talking about the budget, and he's telling a story about a chipmunk he saw in 1992.
And no one stops him. So how do you end a meeting like this?
The book has a strategy. You wait until everyone's bladders are full.
Biological warfare.
Exactly. Once people are physically uncomfortable, you offer a synthesis of everyone's bad ideas mashed together. People will agree to anything just to get out of the room.
So it's not about consensus, it's about needing to pee.
Biology always wins. Which brings us to the actual work. The source says an employee has two choices. Path 1, accomplish something.
Which is described as risky and hard. You might fail.
Or path 2, prepare elaborate presentations lying about what is being accomplished.
And that's the one that gets rewarded.
It's safer. The presentation is the product. So that leads to strategies for pretending to work, like the messy desk strategy.
Right. An executive can have a clean desk. It says, I delegate.
But for a worker, a clean desk is a liability. It looks like you have nothing to do, so you need piles of paper.
And the source says you should bury the document you actually need somewhere in the pile.
So when the boss asks for it, you have to rummage. The rummaging is a performance. It proves how busy you are.
It's all theater. And what if someone tries to give you more work?
You use the I'm busy defense. Layer 1 is just the glare. You just stare at them like they're insane.
If that doesn't work, layer 2, I'm massaging the numbers.
A fantastic phrase. It sounds important and technical, and it implies the data isn't ready.
And if all else fails, layer 3.
Just be rude. Have a bad personality. People will eventually stop asking you for things. Incompetence and rudeness repel work.
It's incredible. The source has some real-world examples of this logic that are just mind-bending. The one about the laptops.
Oh, the glued laptops.
Yeah.
A company bought laptops for travel, but they were afraid they'd be stolen. The key metric was lost equipment.
So the solution was?
They permanently glued the laptops to the desks.
Which completely defeats the purpose of a laptop.
Of course. But hey, 0 laptops were stolen. The metric looked great. Success.
And then there's the quality parade.
A freight company wanted to promote quality, so they made every department build a parade float.
So the accountants had to stop doing accounting to build a float about synergy.
It's the ultimate expression of the principle. The activity of the parade completely replaces the objective, which is moving freight.
So after all this, what's the big takeaway?
I think it's that the friction and absurdity you feel at work isn't an accident. The system isn't designed for efficiency. It's designed to contain incompetence and maintain the hierarchy.
It's all about control.
It's all about control. The furniture, the awards, the buzzwords, it's all about reminding you of your place. Once you see that, you realize you're not crazy. The system is.
So for everyone listening, when you're in the office tomorrow, just look around. Do you see the furniture hierarchy? Are you playing buzzword bingo?
Ask yourself if the meeting you're in is theater. And if so, what role are you playing?
I want to leave you with one last thing from the book, a test. A test to find out who the real decision maker is in your company.
This is the ultimate litmus test. You ask someone a simple question. How much RAM does your computer have?
And if they know the answer.
If they know the answer, if they say, oh, I have 16 gigs, they are not a decision maker. Because the people with the real power, the ones who steer the ship, have absolutely no idea how the machine actually works. The moment you know that, you're too valuable to be in charge.
Terrifying. And I think we all know it's true. Thanks for this.
My pleasure.
Go forth and try not to get promoted. We'll see you next time.